School of Education, Mizoram University. And today, Madam is going to talk about the constructive approach to teaching and learning. So, see, teaching and learning is one what we call art, okay, and one type of the art. And who knows this art? He is a more successful teacher. Everyone, all we are teaching. Okay, all we are teaching, we are in teaching profession, but that art make us difference from one to another. Okay, that everyone we are reading, we are going to taking the class. So the teaching approach, it is very much essential component of the our teaching approach. So today, Madam is going to take this class. So, Madam, on behalf of the HRDC Mizoram University, I welcome you in this 6th FIP program, ongoing program, and we are very happy and thankful to you. You accepted our invitation to deliver a lecture and share your experience with participant on a very important topic. So I welcome you, and now handing over the session to you for your presentation, Madam.
Okay, thank you, sir. And first of all, good morning, everyone. And in the beginning, I would like to thank sir, who found me capable to take the class, this particular lecture, this particular class. And thank you, sir, for inviting me. Yeah. I would try to share my that idea in a best way, and how means how my the participant of this FIP, that faculty induction program, how they are going to be benefited. So I would like to share my screen first of all. I hope it's clearly visible to everyone.
Yeah, madam, it is.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So as you can see on your screen, today we are going to discuss about constructivist approach to teaching and learning. And it's not very new approach, though we are not utilizing this approach in our classroom very much. Actually, we teachers are really, means we don't want to change. We have some fear to be we don't want to change ourselves, we don't want to modify ourselves, and that's why till now we are sticking with that behavioristic approach. And I don't know how many of you from education or how many of you from psychology, but we know that there is going to be sometimes we consider our student like tabula rasa. The concept of tabula rasa means that students are just like a empty vessel. Students are just like that empty slate. And what do we want to write on that one? We can write on that one. But this constructivist approach tries to change this concept. It tries to what is our existing mindset about our classes, what is our existing mindset about that teaching learning process. It tries to change that one. So here I'm starting this one, and in this one we are just going to discuss what is constructivist approach, from where it has come, next how we are going to apply these things in our classroom. And if you have some question, please you can ask right now or after the class. So first of all, I would like to ask a question to all of you, and you can type that one in the chat box or in that question, what to say, that chat box. So according to you, what is goal of our teaching? What we try to achieve after going with the class or through a teaching learning process, after going with that one, what do we try to achieve? So first one here, that is going to be learning about practice. And second one is becoming a practitioner, what we try to achieve. If as a teacher, you are taking any class, what do you try to achieve after taking your class? What type of change you need in your learners? I'm waiting for your answer. Should it be change of character? Correct. It's going to be like on the effective domain, and highest one in that effective domain, change of character. But I have given 2 points here: learning about practice or becoming a practitioner. Which one is going to be? Both. Okay, correct. Both. Okay. Thank you, Shreya. Thank you, Elijah. And yeah, one more name is there. So Priyanka. Okay. Yeah, you are correct that both, that learning about practice and becoming a practitioner. Here, I would like to tell you about like again, I will come to the behavioristic approach and constructivist approach. And again, I will go with Bloom taxonomy. So I don't know how many of you are knowing about Bloom taxonomy, but as I know, there were some classes on teaching, learning, like skills, and like micro teaching, and these learning skills. Already you had some classes on. So in Bloom taxonomy, there are going to be certain domains, that is the cognitive one, affective one, and psychomotor one. And even in cognitive one also, there are going to be different levels, 6 levels in cognitive domain, 5 in that affective, and around that with the modified one, 7 levels in psychomotor one. So learning about practice is going to be some knowledge about practice. That is going to be only the first level of cognitive domain, that is the knowing. But how Bloom has given this one, that if we are going that on higher level, automatically it is including that lower levels. Like it goes like the knowing, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and yeah, correct, Priyanka, remembering, understanding, correct. So analyzing, evaluating, and creating. So when we are going to make someone practitioner, means they are knowing the theory of practice. So when we are becoming a practitioner, we are knowing about the theory. So learning about practice is already included in that one. And here the goal of teaching and learning in constructivist approach is making them practitioner, not only to know about the practice. I hope this one is clear, how these two are different. Okay, thank you so much. So we are going to the next slide. What happened? Yeah. So here we are just going to start that what is constructive approach or constructivist approach, and we can see that construction of knowledge is related to constructivist approach. Construction means actually when we go to classroom, we try to students, okay, make them learn. We try to make them learn, our student, but who is going to learn ultimately? So it is the students who are going to learn. And generally in our traditional classroom, we focus on the recording, that how they are going to record everything in their mind. But here in constructivist approach, that we are just giving freedom or giving liberty to our learners, that how they are going to construct their knowledge for themselves. Earlier, when it was the behavioristic approach, that if we are going to see the definition of that one, definition of learning according to behaviorist approach, that is going to be relatively permanent change in behavior. But these days, we don't accept this definition, because only change in behavior is not learning. And when cognitive approach came, cognitive approach to learning, when this philosophy of learning came, they said like learning is not change in behavior, but the outcome of learning is knowledge, whether it is going to reflect in our behavior or not. So they like discuss, like we can see some paradigm shift in learning from behavioristic approach to cognitive, and cognitive worked as foundation for the constructivist approach. And in this theory, there are several psychologists who work for this one. And some of you may be aware with the name of Dewey. Dewey, if we are going to see philosophy, he was from the pragmatic school of psychology. So John Dewey, and he just discussed about project method, that utility of learning, how we can go for learning by doing. And if we are going to say that learning by doing, that philosopher Rousseau is automatically coming here, then Piaget, Vygotsky, Brunner, they all have contributed for this constructivist approach. And like in 1950s, that Piaget gave his that theory. Even in 1930s, Vygotsky gave his theory. But the all theory, this constructivist approach, construction of knowledge, became popular after 1990. Okay, so in 90s, that this constructivist approach became popular, and we tried to shift from that behaviorist classroom, we try to shift from behavioristic approach to that constructivist approach. So what is this one? Here, as you can see, it is learning using prior knowledge and connecting it to new information. So here we can see two things. The first one is prior knowledge. So the concept, what was there earlier of tabula rasa, or that if you are that from the behavioristic school, there are few names, and Watson is one prominent from that behavioristic school. So according to Watson, Watson said once that give me 10 children and I can make them, what do you want or what do I want? Like I can make them doctor, engineer, thief, saint. What do you just say I can make them? Means here Watson discarded or denied about the prior knowledge, or what that hereditary one, especially his means focus one on the hereditary one, but what the child potential, that Watson denied. Okay, that one, Watson discarded that one. But here, when we come to constructive classes, when we come to constructivist approach, there we say that prior knowledge of a student is equally important. Means when a child is coming to school, when a learner, I will not say child, but meaning of child is learner or a student. So when a learner is coming to school, the learner has some previous knowledge. It's not like he's coming like a blank slate. He's not coming like that one. And what do we want to write? We cannot do that. Child is coming with some prior knowledge, some previous knowledge. And what do we need to do? We need to utilize the prior knowledge of the student, and we use that prior knowledge to connect new information with that one. So the prior knowledge is going to work like some foundation. It doesn't mean that what the prior knowledge of student, it may not be wrong. Child or student may have some misconception, but again, constructive class says that we try to correct that one. We need to rectify that one, and again, building a new information. So we have not to consider our students like a blank slate. So as for that, what is constructivism? So it is a view of learning based on the belief that knowledge is not the thing that can simply be given by the teacher at the in the front of the room to students in their desk. So what is the concept of traditional classroom? That in classroom, this side of table, teacher is going to be, and teacher is leading whole class. It's going to be not like that. that students are listening, recording the lecture in their mind, and when that evaluation, when that at the time of evaluation, they are going to write what they have learned in the classroom. So it is this constructivist approach discarded this type of concept about classroom, and it says that learners are the builders and creators of meaning and knowledge. So it is going to be learner who are going to build their own knowledge. They are going to create their knowledge, create the meaning, creation of the knowledge. Like in the classroom, we are going to get, means if we have 100 students in our classroom, we are going to get 100 type of learners, like their intelligence, their aptitude, their attitude, their family background, their socioeconomic status, their culture, the language. It is going to be different, and each student is unique in his or her own way. So here, like, we can't teach all the students at one time, and same method is not going to be applicable for all the students. Here, who is going to learn finally? So those are the learners. So we need to allow them to build knowledge for themselves. They are going to create meaning. They are going to create knowledge for themselves. And here again, this constructivist approach, they discuss about utilization of knowledge. If knowledge is not going to be utilized by the knower, by the learners, there is no meaning of that type of learning. So learning should be contextual. Learning should be applied in the day-to-day life. If learner is not able to apply that knowledge in their day-to-day life, in the real situation, there is no meaning of that type of knowledge. So here, some features we are going to discuss on the basis of the all concept. The main feature, the basic features of constructivism is the learners construct their own understanding. I hope already we have discussed a lot about this one. So we are not going to discuss further this one. The second one, new learning depends on current understanding. So what is the knowledge of learner? What is the understanding of learner? What the new thing is going to be learned by that learner? That one is depending on the what the concept already learner has. And the same is applied is for that current learning. That current learning is going to be based on the prior knowledge of a student. So that what existing knowledge of learner, all the present learning, all the future learning is depending on that one. The next one is learning is facilitated by social interaction, and they have accepted the role of society, the role of elder, the role of expert, the role of teacher in that learning. And especially Vygotsky had said that what is learning? Learning is social interaction. When we go for learning, two or more than that one, they are going to interact with each other. And the definition of teaching, definition of teaching says that more knowledgeable person is going to interact and passing some information to the less experienced one. So whenever it is coming for the teaching, it is interaction between more that more experience and less experience. In the same way, this constructivist class is going to be like, there is going to be social interaction between expert and that who has not expertise or who is not knowing about that one. But it doesn't mean the learner is not knowing at all. He has some experiences, he has or she had some prior information, and through interaction, it is going to be more. So something is going to be add in that one, going to be added in that one. The next one, language play a central role in mental development. That it has been accepted by Piaget, Brunner, Vygotsky, that without language, learning can't take place. So in the early stages, at the early stages of child, like when that abstract thinking has not been developed, at that time, like there is going to be less role of language, but every time language for the abstract thinking, for the concrete one, or for that type of higher level of thinking, language is going to be essential. And without language, that mental development can't be. So there is role of mental development, the role of language in the mental development of child. And then they have discussed about meaningful learning occurs within real world learning task. So when we are just going with going to provide, going to give some real world experiences, then meaningful learning is going to be like, what is going to be main role of learning, or what is going to be goal of learning. Like we try to make our students productive, we try to means make them capable to use learning in their day-to-day life. So the meaning here is going to be transfer of learning, how they are able to transfer that learning from classroom to real life situation. So to use that one, if some similarity is going to be between classroom learning and real life situation, so transfer of learning will be maximum. We need to go for generalization, we need to go for that use of that knowledge in their day-to-day life. So when it's going to be meaningful, when they are going to utilize that learning in their own life. And if how much there is going to be like similarity between classroom and the real world, the transfer of learning will be maximum. So here in the next slides, we will discuss little bit, not very much, because here we are not going to discuss much theory, but we are going to discuss the practical part of that one. So constructivist theory, we can divide this constructivist theory into two part. The first one is going to be cognitive constructivism, and cognitive constructivism was given by Jean Piaget. So that Jean Piaget, as I told you, that in 1950 he discussed about this theory, like his theory, that cognitive the theory of Piaget, and he just given 4 stages of development of learner, development of child, and that's like sensory motor, pre-operational, formal, that concrete operational, and formal operational. So he just divided the whole development of child into 4 phases, and he discussed that how learning is going to be in different stages. As you can see further in that one, that some terms had been used by Piaget, and there you can see that schema, and after schema there is assimilation, accommodation, and equilibration. So we will discuss little bit about these all, and then we will go further. So that the schema, it is schema is also known as cognitive framework, and this framework that tries to provide a way to understand and organize any knowledge or any new knowledge, any information. So it is cognitive frame. The schema, what is schema? Schema is cognitive framework. It may be of anyone. Okay, it is cognitive framework of individual, that how we are going to receive any knowledge, how we are understanding any new knowledge, how we are going for the organization of that knowledge. So it comes under schema. Then the second one is assimilation. Like when we are just, we are that again the same thing, that we all have some knowledge, we all have some experiences. So here that when any new thing is coming, we try to match that one, that the new information with the existing one. So it is what is the existing cognitive schema. It is we try to incorporate that new information is that one. Some similarity we try to find to make with that what is the existing that information, existing knowledge we have. We try to go for to find some similarity, and on the basis of we learn things, or we learn new things. Then after assimilation, there is going to be accommodation. If like what is the pre-existing information, what is the means what is our that schema, that if any new information is coming and not matching with that one, we try to modify. Okay, we try to make new schema, some new mental framework, and try to organize information. Okay, what is not matching with that, what is which one is not matching with our existing schema, or some assimilation we are not finding with the that existing one, and that's why we try to accommodate, we try to make some alteration, we try to modify our schema, and that one is known as accommodation. Then that equilibration, and equilibration is balancing of cognitive structure with the needs of environment. What is going to be different demands from environment when we are going to when we try to balance, if some that from environment some stimulus is coming, how we are just going to work with that stimulus, how we are just balancing that one, that is known as equilibration. And from the equilibration, the second thing comes disequilibration. So disequilibration is some state of confusing, that's the state of, we can say, state of confusion. When we are going to be confused, means if when we are just going to find some similarity, and we are not finding some similarity with the pre-existing that schema, so there may be some confusion at that time. We encounter some confusion when the situation is not matching with preconceived notion, and that we have some preconceived notion, it should be like that. And when that one is not matching with that one, there is going to be disequilibration. And this equilibration is very much required for new learning. So when there is going to be some similarity we are not finding, then disequilibration is going to be, and new learning is going to happen. So here in this Jean Piaget theory, there are going to be true principle that learning is an active process. So if learning is active process, so learner should be that active. Learner should be more active rather than teachers. And second one is learning should be real and authentic. Like whenever we are going for the learning, that it should be match with the real situation. It should match with what the how much real or how much authentic it is. So that was the theory given by Jean Piaget, and then we can see that social constructivism that given by Lev Vygotsky. So the problem of Jean Piaget's theory, the problem of cognitive constructivism, that he just discarded the role of society, the role of culture, the role of family, and he just discussed the same pattern of learning for all the learners. And the whole idea, the concept of what to say, Piaget's theory, depending on that all children are scientists. So this is the basic idea behind the theory given by Jean Piaget. And he just neglected the role of society. And from there, Lev Vygotsky, he came, and though he is older, that he gave in his this theory of social constructivism, I think 2 decades before Jean Piaget, but because of that theory couldn't come into the light, and That's why in 1990, when we started to discuss about constructivism, and then we started to discuss the theory of Lev Vygotsky. So in that Lev Vygotsky theory, he also gave some terms. He discussed about there were some basic components of this social constructivism theory, and the first one is language. And like Brunner, Vygotsky also accepted the role of language. And this language, we know that language is also related to that culture, the family, that all the child's background. So he discussed about the role of language. Then cognitive apprenticeship. And cognitive apprenticeship, according to this one, there is going to be that learning is going to be like means with the help of an expert. If some cognitive development is going to be done, that is the cognitive apprenticeship. Then he discussed about social interaction, and he accepted, already we have discussed about that one, that without social interaction, learning can't be happen. And in that social interaction, he just discussed about one expert is going to help in learning to the less experienced person, who has not any type of expertise in that particular area. So that is the social interaction. And then he discussed some more terms, like 3 terms basically we get in his theory, and he discussed about 3 things in his theory, that is the internalization, scaffolding, and zone of proximal development, or zone of potential development. So this, though I have not written here internalization, but internalization is adaptation or taking in of knowledge. So from the social context in which anything is going to be observed, and from the child, in that environment, the person, the individual is going to observe that one, and after that, that person or that individual is going to use it for himself or herself. That is known as that internalization, or we can say that is the adoption of that one. It is something like we are just looking our environment, we are learning, or we are going through some experiences, and we are just getting some new knowledge and utilizing that knowledge for ourselves. That is known as internalization, how we are going for the take in any information, any knowledge. Then the next one is scaffolding, and the scaffolding is just some competent assistance or some support. And here usually this is mediation, okay, that what we are providing to a learner. This mediation may be by teacher, this mediation may be by parent, by any member of society, by any member of family. And what we are just doing, we are trying to help them to bring some cognitive, socio-emotional, or behavioral development. So what we are helping, that all the domains of learning, whether it is cognitive, affective, or psychomotor, cognitive, socio-emotional, and behavioral one, that type of development is going to be done. We are just providing some support to our learner, that to be developed, okay, in all the domains of learning. So that is the scaffolding. Scaffolding is some assistance, some support provided by experienced member of the family or society, or by the expert. So anyone it can be. And the last one is the zone of proximal development. So it's that zone of proximal development. It is a range between a learner's level of independent performance and the level of performance of the child after giving some expert guidance. Means how much this means, the range for that example, for example, we can understand. I am giving one very simple examination example of that one. Like a child can do that multiplication and subtraction. And multiplication and subtraction is required for, a child is knowing addition and subtraction, and addition and subtraction are required for the multiplication or division. So what we are just trying to do, like by himself or herself, the problems related to addition or subtraction can be done by the child. But if an expert, if a teacher is going to support, a teacher is going to provide some scaffolding, some support, some assistance, the child can do multiplication. So this range, how much child is knowing about addition and subtraction, from there to multiplication, what the child can do after getting some support, some help, uh, or some guidance, this range is known as zone of proximal development. Any confusion in that one regarding zone of proximal development? I don't know, I can't see because, okay. Okay, thank you, Shreya. So here, after discussing these all things, here one question can be raised, that why constructivist approach to teaching and learning is important. From 100 years, means we are going with the behavioristic approach, and why all of a sudden this constructivist approach is required. I don't know how many of you are like, but I know all of you are knowing about that one, that National Curriculum Framework 2005, and this is going to give some curriculum framework for school education. And like last one came in year 2005, that's why we call it that NCF 2005, published designed by NCERT, which is apex body for the school education in our country. And they go for monitoring, they go for administration, they go for like educational and research on that related to school education. They work for that. So like if you are going to see very long back, it's going to be 2005 and 2023, around 18 years. Okay. And at that time only, they just discussed how we can move from behavioristic classroom to constructive classroom. And not only that one, if we are going to see like that examination of that PISA and other things, that India is not existing anywhere. We are just our learners are going to like learn by heart, and they write in the examination. So that practical knowledge, we need skilled population, we need skilled learners who can utilize their learning. So if theoretical is going to be, that one can't be that utilized, and from there only that constructivist that approach, we feel that requirement of that one. So here, why it's when I said that why it is required, and here we can compare like what the existing classroom or what the traditional classroom with the constructive classroom. So the first one we can see here, in the traditional classroom, we give accurate answers. We don't allow, or we don't need space or time or that room to students where can they just going to discover or going to make meaning means for themselves. What we do, we just give them the cooked answer, the accurate answer. We don't allow them, okay, to discover answer, to find out answer by themselves. But at the same time, the constructivist class, in the constructivist classroom, we just allow learners, or we are going to encourage learners for discussion to present some new ideas. So when the discussion is going to be on the student part, like they are coming up with some new ideas, some new concept, which are not the, which are means very different from the earlier one. So if we are going to generate knowledge. If knowledge is going to be generated by us, that is going to be permanent. And we can remember that what we at the time of examination, what we learned by heart, we have forgotten those things. But what by learning by doing, or for in which we went for discussion, we gave idea from our side, those things were more permanent than the compared to what we did at the time of examination, what we learned by heart, in comparison to that one. The second one is, in the traditional classroom, what we try to do, we try to divide one whole into the parts and begin with parts to reach to the whole. That is the concept of traditional classroom. If we are going to see the Gestalt psychology, like Gestalt psychology means some complete overview of anything, to look anything in a complete way as a whole, when we are going to see the meaning of Gestalt psychology and what has been given by Gestalt psychology. So even in Gestalt psychology, and this is also related to Gestalt psychology, is also related to cognitive approach to learning. And they have said, like, we should present anything before the student in a complete way, so they can see the overall problem, and from there they can go to search for the solution. And according to Gestalt one, that whole is not sum of all the parts. The basic concept behind Gestalt theory, the whole is not the sum of all parts. Something is going to be missing in that one. How we are just perceiving anything in a complete way, in a in a whole, as a whole, how we are going to see, that is going to be very much different. And in constructivist classroom, we follow the same idea, that begin with the whole, we show that what is the overall thing, what is the complete thing, and from there we go to expand that one into the parts. We are going from whole to part. So this is from part to whole, the traditional one, and constructivist approach is from whole, and then we are going to the parts. Here, in that traditional one, we have some fixed curriculum, and we are just bound to follow that one. And one quality of good curriculum is flexibility. When flexibility is not there, we can't call that curriculum as a good curriculum, because curriculum is for learners. Learners are not for curriculum. So in that constructivist classroom, we follow the flexible one. Their pursuit of students' question, as per the questions of students, as per their interest, as per their ability, as per their mental level, the whole learning program is going to be organized. And same fixed curriculum is not going to be for all the learners. As I told, like, there are going to be, if in our class 100 learners, so that level of all the 100 learners is going to be different. So how a fixed curriculum, the same curriculum should be applied on all the students, how it is going to be suit, this curriculum is going to suit to all the learners. So that is the one more problem with the traditional classroom. Then in the traditional classroom, that mainly what resources we have, the resources are going to be only the textbook, some workbook, basic readers. Here in that constructivist classroom, that we go with the primary sources. Primary sources, mainly the real life situation, the activity, where the learners are going to be involved, where the learners are going to act, they are going to do something and learning, and the materials are also going to be manipulative one, as per the situation, as per the learner, teaching learning material, and that resources are going to be changed. Then in traditional one, instructor gives, student receive. That is the whole idea of traditional classroom. Teacher is delivering lectures, learners are listening. And even if we are going to see the teaching learning methods can be of three types. One are going to be teaching methods. Teaching methods mean teacher-centered work. There is going to be learner-centered, that learning method, which are going to be that learner-centered or student-centered. And third one is going to be teaching and learning, equal place we are just giving to teacher and learners. So in that traditional classroom, generally we go with teaching methods as lecture method, how we are going right now, that I'm lecturing. I don't know whether you are receiving or not. I don't know how much you have understood. I don't know about the medium, that how much effective this medium, whether there is some internet problem, some fluctuation is there, whether my voice is clear or not. I am just delivering my lecture, not bothered or not taking care that whether you are listening or understanding or not. But there in that constructivist classroom, learning is going to be interaction. Means it's going to be two-way process, not one-way process. We call teaching and learning as a two-way traffic, that from that side also and this side also. So in that constructivist classroom, learning is interaction, building on what students already know. So that is that different type of, even the classroom environment is also going to change in that condition. Like here, only teacher is speaking. In that constructivist, teacher and learner both are just going to interact. How much learners are understanding, at the same time the teacher is coming to know and can change, can modify that teaching strategy, the method, the tactics which is being used in the classroom at the same time. Here in traditional one, instructors play central role, but in the constructivist classroom, teachers are going to facilitate. They are going to be in the role of facilitator, means where they are organizing all the things. They are trying to provide some support to the learners, where they are providing resources. They are more expert, so they know that what type of things are required here to learn. They are the teachers, they are knowing their learners, so they are knowing about the what information, what the knowledge their students, means his or her student have, and accordingly the support is going to be provided. In the classroom, there are going to be some outstanding, extraordinary students. Some are going to be very creative, some are going to be like very intelligent, some are going to be average students, some are going to be below average student, some are going to be like very mischievous type of student. So all are going to be in the same class. A teacher is going to know about the learner, their potential, as well as that learning styles of the learners is also going to be different. Some are maybe auditory, some may be the visual learner, some may be body kind of aesthetic learner. These all different type of learners we can get in the classroom. Some students we may get, like these days we are discussing about a different type of education system, different type of classes. Like earlier we were just discussing only about the special education, means schools or learning institution as per the gender of learner, that type of segregation was there. So if we are going to see the education system, first that is special education, then integrated one, and now we are discussing about the inclusive one, that our learning institution should be inclusive. Our learning style, teaching and learning style should be inclusive. What is the meaning of inclusion? That all the learners can sit under same roof and can learn. So from there, like if the teacher is going to teach in the same way, that may not be applicable for all the learners. So in that way, we need to help learners so that they can learn in their own way. So here the role of teacher is going to be facilitator only. In that classroom, there is going to be students work individually. That learner, as a learner, I am responsible for my own learning, not for the classroom learning, not for my like peer group learning. But in constructive classroom, there is not going to be, and in our institution, we are going to see that some throat cut competition are not very unhealthy competition, because there the learner is learning individually. But here in constructivist classroom, that students work in groups and they are going to learn in groups. In traditional one, the saying, that final one, what we can say, that final verdict is going to be of instructor. But in that constructive classroom, that the knowledge is going to be shared between students and teacher, some exploratory like discussion, some directed discussion is going to be, and that knowledge is going to be shared between teacher and student, teachers and learners. The last one, assessment are part of examination, separate from learning task. So if we are going to see the traditional classroom, and we all are product of that one, like for us, there was nothing like continuous and comprehensive evaluation, especially in higher classes. Now we discussed about that CBCS. Now we discussed about different semester, internal assessment. So this is the new concept. And this is also because of that constructivist approach. I can see some question there. What is the relevance of examples on a concept undertaken in? What is the relevance of examples? Okay, I'll answer. Dr. Vijay Lakshmi, I will answer this question. Let me finish first. Okay, so assessment, earlier, what I was saying, that we are knowing only about summative evaluation, and that is type of evaluation. And you must be knowing about measurement, assessment, and evaluation, and what is basic difference between assessment, measurement, and evaluation. I'm not going to I'm not going in very detail for that one. So generally, in that traditional classroom, we go with the summative, or summative is also known as assessment of learning. That what we are learning, we are trying to what students are have learned, what students are knowing, we try to assess that one with at the end of that. That's why it is known as summative one. If I'm going to differentiate that formative assessment and summative assessment, like if in the evening, if some guests are coming to my place, and when I'm cooking something for them, and they are going to test the food and telling something, that is going to be one type of summative assessment. But while cooking, that salt is not okay, is okay or not, how much spices, what spices I have used, that is okay or not, what thing it is, the item has been cooked properly or not. That when at the time of cooking, if I'm checking that one, if I'm testing that one, and accordingly I am just adding something, or I'm trying to reduce something from that one, that is going to be a formative type of assessment. So in the traditional classroom, generally we go with summative one, or assessment of learning. But in that constructive classroom, there is going to be continuous and comprehensive one, and there we go with formative, what I told, that formative type of assessment. And these days we are discussing about assessment for learning, and one new, very new one is assessment as learning. Assessment for learning means that assessment is done for the learning of a student, how they can learn from their assessment. That is, and assessment as learning is also one type of formative assessment, that using assessment as the learning of learner. Like in this one, we discuss about some self-assessment, we discuss about peer assessment. Like as a teacher, if I have gone for the assessment of student, I am just telling all the parameters that on which they can evaluate their answer, and I'm just giving their answer sheets to them, and they are going to evaluate their own answer. So this is going to be assessment as learning. Or when, because now from the parameters, they came to know that what type of changes, or what type of answer they need to write, or what type of behavior they need to show. So that is going to be assessment as learning, when they are going to evaluate or assess, not evaluate, but when they are going to assess their friends, so from them also they are learning. So that good thing is in that particular person. So they try to like adopt that one. They try to learn new thing. So that is going to be assessment as learning. I hope in this one there is no confusion, and I have stressed this one so much. So I'm not going in very detail, like in that principles of constructivism, because already we have discussed so many things. Only few things which has not been discussed. Here, the third point, people learn to learn. And as a teacher, like in that constructivist approach, we need to tell about our students how they can learn. And the concept of, I think, meta learning, you must be knowing that learning of learning, how that teacher can't be present at all the place. And in this one, we go with that the broader meaning of learning, the broader concept of education, the broader that definition of education, that learning or education is a lifelong process. So that one is not going to be inside four walls of the class, that it is not going to be in the premise of school only, but outside of a school, it can be, and we are going to learn from everyone, we are going to learn everywhere. So a teacher cannot be present everywhere, that to make his or her student learn. So in that way, we need to tell our student that what is, how they can learn. So people learn to learn, how we are going to learn, we try to learn that one. And the whole idea of constructivism is just depending on that one. Even knowledge is personal, knowledge is very much different for everyone. For the same lecture, what I am just delivering right now, you all are going to extract some meaning in your own way. You are just extracting meaning by yourself. So though the lecture is same, but the level of understanding of everyone is going to be different. Knowledge is going to be contextual. Contextual means how it is going to be, if it is some examples are from the real life, from the real that situation, then we are going to learn, okay, in a more proper way, in a more effective way. So here is answer of, let me, Dr. Vijay Lakshmi. So what is the relevance of example on a concept undertaken in constructivist classroom? So when we are going in constructive classroom, how much that example is going to be related to the real life of the learner, that is going to be effective. So for means what type of example we need to take, it should be from day-to-day life of the learner. And for that one, we need to know our learners. If as a teacher, I am giving some examples in the classroom, if I'm citing some examples in the classroom, it should match with the learner. Like there may be some cultural difference between teacher and learner. And if the teacher is giving some example from his or her own life, students may not be able to understand. Like here in Mizoram, like what type of competition we see in the plain area, in those classrooms, that type of competition is not here, and the students are going to be very happy. Like I can remember, and I give this example in my own class also, that for each marks, we were just fighting with each other. We were just checking answer script, and someone had got more than us. And we are finding that my writing style or my answer is better than him or her. So we were going to the teacher and like asking that why have you given 7.5 to her, and why have you given only 7 to me? And we were just giving some rationale for that one, that why have you. Now for anything, if I am citing this example in my classroom, the learners of Mizoram may not connect with that example, because it is not in their lifestyle. They don't fight for each mark. Okay, they are going to be, okay, I have got 5. And every time I tell my student that if you have rational, that you should get more, just come with rational, and I'm ready to increase your mark. And hardly in my that 8 years of career, hardly anyone has come to me. Only I can remember only one student once he came and he he said. So that is that is the culture of Mizoram, where they don't go for such type of complaint, or they don't do these things. So if I'm citing this example in my classroom, it may not be applicable for Mizo classroom. So that example should be related to the background of learner, should be related to the culture of learner, where a student or learner can connect themselves. I hope I have answered your question. The act of constructing meaning is mental. Everyone needs knowledge to learn, and already, okay, we have discussed, and motivation is major aspect of learning. And for the motivation, everyone has like discussed, like Brunner, the role of reward, the role of punishment, though that reward and punishment is from heuristic school, but means especially started by Skinner and Dojal. But here in that motivation, how we are going for the intrinsic and extrinsic one, that is also going to be. Okay, thank you, Vijay Lakshmi. So in that constructive classroom, what we are going to do. So the first one is a unique learning environment. We need to create a unique learning environment. And these days, we are discussing about UDL. UDL is going to be Universal Design for Learning, and what the concept of inclusive classroom, just I discussed with you all. For that inclusive classroom, this UDL, Universal Design for Learning, is mandatory. As teacher educator, like I'm just going with this one, but most of the teachers are not knowing, even they have not heard the concept of UDL. And if someone has heard, they think this is only for students with some disability. It's not like that. Universal design for learning is for everyone. And meaning of universal design means if it is the universal, the same method for everyone. This is not concept of universal design for learning. The concept is how we are presenting our means that learning sequence that all learners are going to learn. Means it is going to be as per the learner, not as per the teacher. So if it is going to be teaching method, the same method for everyone. But when it is going to be learning one, like learner are going to learn in their own way. So we need to give a unique learning environment because all the learners are unique. They are going to learn in a unique way. So that unique environment is going to be needed. And in that, what I said, that universal design for learning, there are going to be three principles of that universal design for learning, that that principle for engagement, how we are engaging all the learners, that principle, or we can say that in that one, multiple means of engagement, multiple means of representation, and multiple means of actions and expression. As already it is 11:04, and I'll not stretch this one, but if you have to ask about this one further, we can discuss. If some time is going to be left, we can discuss about that one. The second one, students have pre-existing knowledge. The third one, active participation of students. I'm not going in very detail because already we have discussed. Teachers should adjust as per needs of learners. So we teacher should be ready to adjust ourselves. It's not like what means what we are knowing, or we are just fix our teaching method. The same method I'm going to use for all the learners. The same curriculum I'm going to use. The same strategy I'm going to use for all the learners. No, we teacher should be ready to adjust ourselves. What is the needs of learner? As per that, we are just going to provide some assistance. We are just going to provide some environment that change in that TLM, or what are going to be teaching learning resources. those all things are going to be done by teacher as per the learners. Then the role of teacher is going to be facilitators. We have to understand, like, they our students don't need spoon feeding. Okay, they are the independent learners, so spoon feeding is not required for them. If they are going to learn by themselves, that learning is going to be maximum. That one we have not discussed so far, that collaborative environment. So for the learning, the environment should be collaborated, where all the learners are going to collaborate. We discuss about collaborative and cooperative learning. So all the learners are going to collaborate. All the learners are going to be together. They are going to be in the group, and they are going to help each other in the learning. And last one is critical thinking, that student should be that critical. They should go for the critical thinking. What is just going to be discussed by teacher, they should not accept those things as it is, but they should be critical. They should raise question, why it is like that. When the question is what, then we are going with the that declarative knowledge. Even in the knowledge, there are going to be 3 types of knowledge. Again, I'm just missing my track, but I will tell you that there are going to be 3 types of knowledge. The first one is declarative one, the second one is contextual one, and the third one is procedural one. Declarative what? So mainly the learners are fixed with what? They are fixed with declarative. What are they knowing? But if there is certain thing, why it is like that? So in which context this can be used? So they need to be that they should have some contextual knowledge, why it is like that. And the third one is procedural knowledge. Procedure is going to be how it's going to be skill based. So we need to make our learners that not only the who has not only the declarative knowledge, but contextual and procedural knowledge also. So what strategies and activities we can use in the classroom? It is just hiding this one. Okay. The first one is ILPE method, and ILP method is investigating learners' previous knowledge. So as a teacher, we need to know about our learners' previous knowledge, what the previous experience they have. We need to know that one. So like when we are going to introduce new topic, it should be engaging for the learners. Students should be involved in the learning. So if we are just bringing any alien concept before our student, which is not linked with the previous knowledge or previous experiences of the learners, they won't be able to understand. And that learning should be just like some linking. There should be some linkage between the new concept and the previous experiences. So here, and this method, when we are going with the ILPE method, then this method is going to help the teacher to develop students that initial understanding of an interest in a topic, and they are going to understand the concept. It is going to provide some opportunity to the learner to generate questions. They are going to ask more questions in the classroom. They are going for, we can see some, okay. So we can, when we are teaching, students are going to generate questions because already they are knowing about the topic. So if they are knowing about the topic, if they are knowing about that one, they may find some connection, and they may go for the questioning in the classroom. And when the questioning is going to be, learning is going to be more. Then the teacher should go for the directed discussion. And as you can see on your screen, teachers and students are aided by a series of questions. Teacher is here. A teacher is going to the role of teacher is going to be like how to put this all discussion on the right track. The teacher is going to direct that one. There are going to be series of questions, the question answer session that sometimes teacher is asking question, sometimes students are asking question, and the clarity about the concept is going to be. Then the third is exploratory discussion, and how this one is different from the directed discussion. Like in the directed discussion, this was the role of teacher to put that whole discussion on the right way, on the right track. There is going to be dialogue focused on on one topic and following some certain path and just reaching to the point. It is the directed one. But in this exploratory discussion, the conversation is going to be among the student, not between the teacher and student, but among the student. And what is going to be role that he is going to be that mediator, he is going to mediate it. And that the whole that discussion is going to be mediated by the teacher. So here in that exploratory one, more creative type of thinking, because that whole discussion is going to be among learners. So more creative approach this one is going to be, and the whole discussion is going to be an action oriented discussion, and individuals are going to discuss without any pressure and without any hesitation, and coming with some creative, some very new thing, very unique thing. So the role of teacher to remove all the barriers, to look to means put that one on the right track, and allow student to come with something very new. Then problem-based and inquiry-based learning. So problem-based is that some student-centered. This problems-based learning can be called as a student-based approach, in which students are going to learn about subject by working in the group. We are just going to give them some situation, some problems, and those problems are going to be open-ended one, not the closed-ended one. The problems are going to be open-ended problems. We are going to pose those problems before our students, and some support we are just providing, and students are going to learn. And then inquiry-based learning, and inquiry-based learning is going to be, we are just giving some real-world problems to our students, and they are just going for the exploration. Some high-level thinking is going to be involved with that one. Some high-level questioning is going to be there, and students are going to follow the problem-solving method, some experiential type of learning, where they are going to experiment something, where they are going to discover the solution. They are going to find out the solution of the problem, and they are learning. Then collaborative learning, and in this collaborative, as I said, that cooperative, collaborative, and they are going to different strategy, different method, or means just we can apply in that collaborative one. So in that, mainly that jigsaw method is going to be like a pair and share method, that we make like pair student think, pair and share, reverse jigsaw, that student term achievement, that division. These all methods are just part of collaborative and cooperative method, where we pair a student. And the pairing, it doesn't mean that we are going to make any pair. Like we try to group the student on their mental level, on their interest level, on the basis of their interest area, their mental ability. We try to form some groups. We try to create some groups. Students are going to be in that group, 5 to 6 students, and they are going to learn. Then field trips. You all are very much aware with the field trips. Field trips are learner oriented method. So as a teacher, we can go for field trips. In the field trips, there is going to be some exploration, there is going to be discussion, there is going to be some observation. So like that, we can go for field trips. Then observation. Students generate their own questions and seek answer through research and observation. So how it is very different from observation method, like the generation of question is going to be done by students. So questions are going to be of a student, and answer is also going to be searched by student. So in that way, we may think that students are going to take question, easy question, but what do we need? Here, motivation is required. Here, keeping an eye on the actions of students is required. And sometimes we think that meaning of constructive classroom is shifting all the workload or all the responsibility from teacher to student. It doesn't mean that teachers are going to be teachers are going to be means they're going to transfer all the responsibility and they are going to be free from all the responsibility. It is not like that. Teachers are going to be more responsible. They have to know about the learner's level, their potential, and accordingly they have to do all the things. So it is not the shifting of pressure from teacher to student, but it is sharing that one, that what can be done by teacher, what can be done by student. Then brainstorming, in the brainstorming session, there may be writing one, that you are just giving some topic for brainstorming to the student, and it may be that written one, it may be that discussion one, that students are going to on the particular topic they are going to write on the paper, because different type of learners we have, and some students are going to speak before the class and they are just on that particular topic they are going to speak. So brainstorming can be. Then top-down processing. Here in that regular classroom, we go with bottom up. Okay, the whole procedure is going to be the bottom up, but in this constructivist classroom, we go for the top down, means top to down. And here, that whole teaching learning process is emphasizing, okay, on the top down rather than bottom up. And what is the top down one? Begin with complex problems and discover the basic skills required. Generally, in our classroom, if we have to teach, if again I'm going to mathematics, first we have taught what is 12 into 4, what is going to be, and that will be means. And then we are going with the situational problem like story problem. At that one we are just giving after that one. But here in that top down processing, they say that give the complex problem to the students. First, from their real life situation that presents some problem, that if you are going to market and you have bought this one, you have bought this one, and the cost of this one is like that, what is going to be whole cost of that one. So that is going to be top down processing. If we are going with the composition, if we are going with some language, we are asking for some composition. And after that one, we can go for to teach our students. First, they are writing whole composition, then punctuation, how to go for that, other things like grammar, that punctuation, that spelling. Spelling is first not important. What they are creating, that is important. So creation is coming first, and then we go for the checking of spelling, checking of grammar, where they have put punctuation in correct way or not. So that is the top-down processing. And teaching thinking skill. And here, how they can be critical thinker. How can they go for meta thinking? Meta thinking, thinking or thinking. So meta thinking is just going to enable individual for the complex thinking. So we need to teach them how can they think, what is the right process of thinking, how they can go for practice of thinking skill. That we need to tell our students. So here I will try to complete this by within 3 to 4 minutes. So in that constructive classroom, how we can go with our learners. So here we can see that 5 steps, and these all are this is known as 5E model or 5E approach. And here we can see engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. And these days we are discussing about 7E, that before engage there will be elicit, and after elaborate there is going to be extend, and then evaluate. So how we are going to engage learners in whole teaching learning process, how we are helping them to explore the learning, means what the new thing on the basis of the previous one, for the engagement, the previous knowledge, the existing knowledge is required, that how students are going to, means what students are going to know what already they are knowing, and how teacher is going to utilize that one to engage learner in the teaching learning process. Then the exploration, the same thing is going to be done by student, not by the teacher. The teacher is presenting some problem, teacher is giving some problem, and for the solution to find the answer, the students are going to explore that one. The third one is explain. This explanation is also going to be done by student. Explanation part is not going to be done by teacher. What is going to be role of teacher in that condition? That teacher is going to help them. Some support is going to be provided. Like, as I told you, less experience and more experience. So as a teacher, we are knowing more than students about that topic. So where students are lacking, what is like means not discussed by students, the teacher is going to discuss those things. The teacher is going to motivate the student for the explanation. That is going to be role of teacher. And then elaborate again from that explanation. They are just going to bring some example of that one, and some real life situation is going to be involved that one. And further, what was lacking, that one is also going to be elaborated by student. And then evaluate means how much. Meaning of assessment should not be which student is knowing more. Okay, it should not be like when we discuss about different type of like test, and there is going to be criterion one, and there is going to be norm one, norm reference and criterion. Criterion is going to be like objective centered, that how many objectives has been achieved by learners. But norm is going to be where you are going to compare students. So even in that evaluation, we should not go for that evaluation of the student on the following the norm one, that which student is better, but how many objectives has been achieved by any student. We need to assess that one, and that way we are going for the evaluation. And as I told that further, that in the beginning, that it should be formative assessment, means assessment should be for learning, not it should not be assessment of learning, that what students have achieved, and that we are going to sum up that one. It should not be summative, but we should go for assessment for learning. We should go for assessment of learning. So here our role is going to be, we can be facilitator, so we can go for modeling, we can go for coaching, and we can go for scaffolding. That's all for today for my lecture. Thank you. And if you have some more question, I just try to, yeah, still we have 6 minutes. So if organizers, Verma sir is allowing me, and if there is some question, we can go for some question answers. If you have some question, kindly type that one in question and answer box, or just type in that chat box. Okay, thank you, Priyadarshini. Thank you, Arpita. I think, sir, there is no question. So far, I have not received, like there was only one question from, thank you, Dr. Shreya. Manoj, sir.
Hello, ma'am. Sir Manoj has class, so
Okay.
he asked me to take care of this session.
Okay. Hello,
So I
sir.
think there are no questions. That means we can wind up.
Okay. Thank you so
And
much, sir.
we thank you very much.
I tried to be on track. I tried to follow that time schedule also.
We have
So
around 5 minutes left.
yeah, that's why I just
There's
can
a
debating
one
be a
question.
constructive way of teaching?
Yeah.
From Dr. Shreya, I have got this question. Yeah, debating is going to be that constructive way of teaching, correct? We can go for debate. We can go for, even in discussion, debate is involved. So like in that jigsaw one, if, as I told you that in that collaborative and constructive one, there is going to be jigsaw 2, reverse jigsaw. There are going to be for those are means little bit like vast, and in these 5 minutes I won't be able to tell you. But there also we are going to make certain groups of students. We are giving some particular topic and students are going to discuss on that one. So it may be, one may be in the favor of that one, one may be in the against of that one, and debating and coming with some conclusion, coming with some answer. So yeah, debate can be one constructive way of teaching. So thank you everyone, and I hope there is no question, and I will take permission from sir to log out myself, and if he's allowing me. And it was really very nice that I got this opportunity, and I got opportunity and time.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
there is one question in Q&A box.
Okay. Syllabus do not permit nowadays for major constructive classroom, correct, Dr. Vijay Lakshmi? And that's why that the syllabus are for the curriculum framework. We say that it should be flexible. And I told you about like universal design for learning. And this universal design is also like to modify our curriculum as per the learner. So that universal design for learning, it started from though like it came from some like other area, but here in education it started with changing our curriculum. Okay, so we need to modify our curriculum. We need to redevelop our curriculum as per constructivist approach. There where some place, some scope is going to like modify the syllabus, and most of the time we go for the, when we are just going for that, there is going to be 4 major things are going to be in any curriculum. The first one is objective, the second one is content, the third one is transaction, and the fourth one is assessment. The whole curriculum is depending on these 4 things. So for each one, for each aspect, we should give flexibility to our teachers, and there should be means some room for modification every time. So we need to do that one. Is there any other question? I hope Dr. Vijay Lakshmi, I have answered your question.
Yeah, I think there are no more questions.
Okay, yes, sir.
So
okay, thank you so
thank
much,
you very
sir.
much for sparing your wonderful time with us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, everyone. And I need to check. Okay, thank you. I'm just leaving, sir, this session.